Hello guys, and welcome to the final day of the Next Gen Cup here at Bodymore Heath, bringing you 4 fixtures, starting with Crystal Palace versus East Bengal here this morning on pitch 1. I'm with Ollie Sasson. Ollie, we saw Crystal Palace yesterday. They lost to Stellenbosch. They want to finish on a high this morning.
Yeah, that was a really difficult loss, I think, for the team to take, because it did fate them to this game today in the playoff for 7th or 8th place against East Bengal today, who too will be disappointed. But you can never be too upset when you are on the opposite end of a defeat to the team from South Africa, because they are such a joy to watch, and they've made it to the final on good merit. But Crystal Palace have not done themselves disappointment today. For the last 3 days. They have been in really good form, had some really good results, and they obviously started this competition with a win against East Bengal, so they're probably hoping to end it in the same fashion.
Yeah, so this is for 7th and 8th place, this playoff. On the other pitch, you got Everton and Muthoot playing for 5th and 6th. And then straight after that, you'll have Aston Villa versus Punjab. That's a 12 o'clock UK time kickoff, and then we go to Loughborough for a 3:30 start as Tottenham take on Stellenbosch. But the Indian sides gave a great account of themselves yesterday, especially Punjab, who won 2-1 against Everton, coming from behind. Wasn't such a positive result for East Bengal, but they did acquit themselves well against Aston Villa, who needed to score 6 if they were going to make the final. They'd look at one stage like they would get close to that, but East Bengal denied them. Some really important saves from Kamal, a couple of missed penalties in that game for Palace. Kocher did score the rebound, for Villa rather. But Palace have played East Bengal as well. In the first day of this competition, a 1-0 triumph for Palace on that occasion, with Finlay Marjoram getting the goal. So it was a tight game. And if East Bengal can keep this one close, Ollie, you never know, they might nick something.
No, of course, and we saw that yesterday as well with Stellenbosch. It only takes one chance, and I think Punjab were extremely clinical yesterday, and perhaps setting a bit of a standard for their fellow Indian sides in this tournament. And obviously East Bengal did finish 2nd in their qualifiers amongst 47 different teams to get to this such prestigious tournament. So I'm sure they're going to be thinking, well, if Punjab FC can get a result here, even bag some goals as well as they have done now, scoring 4 goals in just 3 games, I'm sure they're thinking, well, we can as well. We must have done it as well throughout our time as a team. We're no different now as to when we were there. So it's just a different type of opponent, and they've had now 3 days to adjust to the football these English sides do play, because I'm sure it's very different to the Indian football we see over there. So yeah, they may be filled with a little bit more confidence despite results. Maybe the experience itself has done enough.
Yeah, and they're ready to go now. Crystal Palace and East Bengal, this is their last game of this competition, which has been a pleasure to watch. Crystal Palace could have been in the final. Things had gone differently yesterday, but not to be for them. Benji Casey's missed penalty was the turning point.
Yeah, and he has to try and get over that today, because we could see his head dropped. He lost it a little bit after the save, and getting a yellow card shortly afterwards too. So he's a really dangerous player for this Crystal Palace side. If they can utilise him, keep him fit, keep him healthy, and especially mentally strong, then they could be in with a real good chance of winning this match, and East Bengal may be in more trouble than they perhaps are expecting.
So we'll bring you the teams, starting with the English side, Crystal Palace, and their squad is as follows. It's Marcus Hill, Finlay Marjoram, Freddie Cowan, George King, Sean Samade, Charlie Walker-Smith, Cormac Austin, Sebastian Williams, Caleb Redhead, Malte Odashi, Joe Gibbard, and also in the squad it's Tyler White, Joseph Koshiba, Dean Benamar, Jerome Ossé, David Montgent, Kyrus Adams-Coleman, Enrique Lameras and Benji Casey. And for East Bengal, representing India this morning, is Kamal, Gurab, Adil, Joseph, Nasib, Tanmay, Nash, Bernardo, Ashik, Shiamal, Guite Pekar, Sayan, Jazil, Anantu, Musharraf, Sunil, Gurnaj, Suman and Devoji. Camera there was just on Guite Pekar. I've been waxing lyrical about him. Plays in that sort of number 10 position, can play deeper. We've seen him up front at times. He's the one they're going to look to get involved as much as possible.
I've also been really impressed with the referee that we're seeing today on this pitch, who's officiating this match so far this tournament. I think he's been exceptional so far. He's not really let anything slide. He's been strong in his decisions, authoritative, and he's kept a lid on most games he's played on, which has been difficult as well because the competitive nature and edge of this tournament has gotten to some players.
It has, and that's completely understandable. We've seen red cards. We saw Patterson for Villa get sent off on day one. We've seen plenty of penalties given away and games threatening to spill over, but this one promises to be an intriguing encounter. They have played each other before this week in a 1-0 victory for Palace, so scoreline wise it was the game that East Bengal impressed the most in. And they did have some opportunities late on in that game. A couple of penalty appeals turned down, so Palace will have their work cut out for them, especially if Guite Pekar, who just got his first touch there, is able to influence the game as we know he can. It is Caleb Redhead getting the start up front for Palace. We've seen a bit of him, we've seen a bit of Benji Casey, but perhaps not a surprise only to see Redhead given the start, given how it went for Casey yesterday with the missed penalty and the signs of frustration he showed.
No, definitely. I think that may be a factor, obviously, in the decision to keep him on the bench to begin with, but also just switch it up a little bit. We've seen Palace like to give all their players a run out in this tournament, and they're probably thinking there isn't as much to play for as they may have hoped when this tournament started. So give all the players an opportunity. Don't really prevent any of them from developing their game and learning from this incredible opportunity that they've got in this Next Generation Cup when they are playing against the likes of these Indian sides and South African.
Yeah, all four of the English sides had a real chance of progressing yesterday at certain stages. Crystal Palace were one of the favourites. They probably had the second best chance as we came into yesterday's action, as Marjoram delivers, but they were defeated by Stellenbosch, and that meant that it was in Everton's own hands, and they fumbled their lines as well as Punjab somehow came from behind to snatch victory, and that meant that Tottenham, who beat Mutlu earlier in the day, were able to progress. But we've still got these other three playoff matches to enjoy, and the 3 different time slots today, so those of you watching along don't have to pick and choose. You can watch 3 games back to back to back.
Well, that's how we love to spend our Sundays, isn't it, as football fans? Constant football, keeping us entertained.
Dashi with the ball over the top, looking for Montgent. Flag goes up. Interesting that we do see Finlay Marjoram in from the start. He was probably Palace's best player when these two sides met on Thursday. Scored the goal, the only goal of the game, arriving at the back post from the Dean Benamar cross. No Benamar from the start today as Cowan gets the nod. And that's nicely worked from East Bengal, who have got 3 players in Palace territory, and that's something we want to see on an ongoing basis. They have left their strikers isolated at times throughout this competition, but perhaps they'll see this one as a bit more of a free hit. Show a bit more attacking intent as Redhead there puts the pressure on.
Yeah, Palace starting this game really aggressively, when they are off the ball and trying to harass East Bengal when they do have possession or even chasing possession. So it'll be interesting to see how the Indian side do face that challenge that they seem to be encountering at the moment. It may be a case where they do just have to keep the ball a little more, move it fast and be technical, as we've seen just in that moment there. They are really capable of doing something special when they have the ball at their feet.
And here they are coming down the right-hand side with Shayamal. Now Suman, just a bit loose that pass, and it does give possession away, allows Lemiras some time on the ball. And that's a well-weighted ball into the path of Cowan, who delivers, and it's away, but only as far as Lemiras, who will strike from distance.
Oh.
Just wide. That's what he can do, though.
Yeah, that was a really good strike. It took me by surprise, to be perfectly honest. You saw the shot there really open up for him, but that was a really, really solid strike. He caught that brilliantly with his left foot, and we know what a weapon it can be. He's shown it with his passing range, but that was a really good strike as well. And the keeper was really worried there, Kamal, because it looked just like it whistled past the post there.
Here's Lemiras again, and he's looking to clip one over the top, and it's still not dealt with. It's like Everton have taken the lead on pitch 2.
Well, Montjam was just trying to feed in his counter part, or his fellow striker, in fact. But he didn't realise he'd taken a little bit of a tumble in the challenge beforehand. But no, really quick thinking from the Palace front line there. They're wanting to move this ball extremely quickly, and they're happy to play it in from either the side or centre of the pitch. And Ramirez, again, though, central to that. He really relishes being in that central attacking midfield role, wouldn't you say, Ben?
Yeah, we've seen him in that position over the last couple of games. He was a bit more wide in his first appearance at a competition, playing off this right-hand side, but very capable of operating from central as well. Palace prepared to take this corner. Plenty forward for them. East Bengal conceded several from set pieces against Everton, and they've conceded one here as Samade rose highest and nodded home from close range. Again, set pieces, the undoing of East Bengal.
Yeah, that's the physicality I was talking about just moments ago, and this time it's led to a goal rather than on the defensive side for Crystal Palace, and that is a phenomenal bit of attacking play from a set piece there. And quite rightly, Samade is enjoying himself in his celebrations. It's not too often you score a goal from centre-back position, but he's done it here on quite a big stage as well, and I'm sure that'll lift his spirits because he played really well himself against the South African side, Stellenbosch, yesterday. So for him to get a goal today, I'm sure would really, really cap what's been a brilliant performance for him in this competition.
Hey, he's been involved a lot this week, Samade.
Almost an ever-present in this side, and
Indeed.
he's showing it why.
And good value for his goal. Been a threat in the air in both boxes. And that's just not the start that East Bengal wanted.
No, it was too easy for him as well, just to climb above his marker there. He almost didn't have to jump, it seemed, but that's the height advantage there coming into play as well. Something perhaps East Bengal can't really control there, but they may face a lot more challenges then, as you say, from these set pieces if they can't find a way to stop them.
Yeah, it is almost an impossible task with the physicality advantage that the English sides have had over the Indians this week. Set pieces have been a problem, especially for East Bengal. But here they come. Good work there from Shayamal, and now it's Guite Peka. Lovely, clever ball over the top. Just too much on it, but you can see he's full of ideas, Guite Peka. Spots passes that others wouldn't.
Well, it's also nice to see Kashima being given a chance today after Hill's really, really good performance against Stellenbosch despite the defeat. It could have been a lot worse for the sides in red and blue. So they had their keeper to thank today, and it's big shoes to fill, I think, today for the youngster Koshiba. But he did well, he started well there, quick off his line, reading the danger well, and that's also what his colleague did too yesterday. Clearly the coaching is along the same wavelength.
Guite Peka had a bit of space there, got his head up, and the cross was just a bit too low. You can see why he went on the ground rather than an aerial ball. Palace have been mopping up those, and that's an interesting ball forward towards Ossé. Going to run out, but he appreciates the effort there. That was a good cross-field pass.
Yeah, just stretching this back four of East Bengal as much as they can. As you say, they've already noticed how vulnerable East Bengal are when it comes to the ball being put into the air, and they've got some big men up top, so perhaps crossing would be a really fruitful avenue for them, and they are not afraid to put balls into the box. But they're also okay just to keep the ball when they need to, slow down the tempo of the match, really tire out East Bengal, make them chase like they are now. And eventually the chances will pour.
Samade. And now Adams Coleman, who's outnumbered there, and here's Guite Peka. They've got numbers, and that's a well-weighted ball to Deboje. And he's looking for a man in red and orange, and they will get the corner. That's better from East Bengal.
No, much better. It's the first time we've really seen them attack with real promise and danger, and it will lift their spirits a little bit. Okay, early in the game, and it was a real knock to them to be 1-0 down. But the emphasis is on the fact that it's only early in the game, and they've still got plenty of time to score. It doesn't really matter when you do, as long as you do it. And it's about key moments, key timing, and Palace, I'm sure, will be feeling quite confident in scoring that early goal, but East Bengal can definitely be rest assured even that there is still plenty of opportunities left for them, and especially if they work it down these wings, because Palace love to commit forward their fullbacks.
Low delivery. Almost caught Palace off guard. They still might get a shot away here. Going to be throw in the end, but he was close there, Anantu, to getting a shot off.
Yeah, really clever to keep it along the floor. They're aware clearly of the height difference, and they know they're probably not going to win many aerial duels, so there's no point wasting a corner in their opinion. So yeah, they definitely caught Palace out there, and perhaps they'll be a bit more wise to it next time. Perhaps they needed to take a bit more advantage of the time.
Shot there from Musharraf. Doesn't find the target, but it's another effort, and they're at least attempting to get back into this one. They don't want to be on the wrong end of another big defeat like they were yesterday and on Friday.
No, not at all, and I'm sure Koshiba's very happy just to receive the ball at his feet here and there, and also warm up his palms when the ball just kindly falls into them. So it's a very cold day today.
Pressing high up the pitch, East Bengal. The foul's committed in the end, but it's good energy from them. That's what they need to show. They've not decided to just sit back and allow Palace too much time on the ball, but they have got in behind here, the Eagles. It was Ossé that was trying to cut it back towards Redhead. Dashi. Another one that's been involved a lot. Matteo Dashi. Sporting the number 10 shirt. Gets a free kick that time. Cowan. Looking for Montgen. Enough bodies back for East Bengal, but it comes from Redhead! And that had to be tipped wide.
That's a superb save by Kamal. Just as I was thinking, he's got to score that. the referee points to the corner flag, and it was the subtlest of touches from the fingertips of the East Bengal goalkeeper, but it was so important to tip that round the post. And Palace aren't going to be upset with a goal, with a corner kick here, but I'm sure Redhead's going to be upset. He's not the one profiting from the opportunities that Crystal Palace are getting of late. But again, what a save.
Taken short, and perhaps not the smartest move there for Palace not to get it into the box, considering their height advantage. There is a player down though.
No, really silly, I think, of them. I'm sure the bench and coaching staff aren't too happy about that decision either. You've just scored from a corner. You've seen the fear as well in the eyes of East Bengal players when they decided to even nullify their corner opportunity by playing it short and low into the box, which is never the best option from a corner kick. Why would you take the pressure off? I can't understand it.
Sunil is getting some attention in the penalty area. Some of the Palace boys come and take a drink and have a chat.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll be talking about that corner. With so many players waiting in the box, you're a bit annoyed when you've made that run up the pitch. For no apparent reason, it seems, especially when the chance for counter-attack's so plausible. I mean, we've seen it so often in this competition so far, the counter-attack from a corner kick, and actually Mutsu are one team that have exploited that really well when they've scored their goals. They just pick the right moments, and I'm sure East Bengal will be hoping to take a page out of their book, the team who qualified third. So East Bengal, I'm sure, are really hoping to get on the scoreboard, and if Palace are a bit complacent like that and don't take their chances in the fashion and manner that they should be, East Bengal may be licking their lips a little bit and seeing real prosperity in this match, and Palace don't want to give them that chance.
No, they've shown a bit more promise going forward. Something about this matchup has just suited East Bengal more than it has when they've played against Everton and Aston Villa.
What do you think that is, though? Is there a difference in style, perhaps, from this Palace side?
Potentially. They definitely stayed in second gear, is what I would say, in that first game on Thursday. They had plenty of chances to increase their lead, but East Bengal, they might have conceded 11 goals, but a lot of that came in just a mad flurry against Everton. Probably doesn't make for pretty reading, of course, but they're looking to stay resolute here. But Lamiras finds Marjoram, gets the cross in. It's a low one, not dealt with straight away. Dashi went over. Adams-Coleman trying to keep the attack alive. Dashi's still down in the box. It's a strong tackle, but the referee thought it was a fair one. Moana. Marjoram. Lamiras. So clever when he drifts in from that right channel.
Montgen just recognising how clever that was, because that was a really, really neat pass through the lines, but Montgen just didn't read it.
Given away cheaply, and the free kick is the last thing, really, that East Bengal should be giving away in those positions.
No, promising one, just the right angle, perhaps to clip it in, and Ramirez with his left foot, I'm sure he's going to be eyeing this one up, because he knows he can find the head of a teammate very, very easily. He knows how to wait a pass to perfection, and he tried it there just earlier, but going back to that sliding tackle too, what a challenge earlier. We just see here, though, perhaps not as good a tackle to halt the play from Crystal Palace, but earlier his central defender really bailing East Bengal out, because they had a really lacklustre clearance, quite easily intercepted, and just on the edge of the box you think he's going to strike it and make life difficult for Kamal once again. But no, it was a really, really good last-ditch tackle, and they might have to put a few more in today.
Dashi takes, and Samade was closest to it, and he's gonna be in the vicinity of the goal, but it is an own goal by East Bengal. Palace double their lead, and again, Ollie, it comes from the set piece. They just can't seem to live with them at the moment.
No, 100%. And the Palace players seem a bit confused as well. It was an okay delivery there from Dashi. Perhaps the run there of Cowan put off the East Bengal players. But it's a goalkeeping error, sadly, for Kamal after making such a brilliant save only a few minutes before. He reads it really well. He spots the danger and he decides to come out and take charge of the situation, and it seemed to be the right call. He wasn't really pressured by the Palace forwards, who didn't really make a run into the box, maybe expecting it to be a bit closer to them rather than into the space, but understandably so, because Kamal's done brilliantly in the first part of his endeavour, in his goalkeeping endeavour that is. But unfortunately he's made the wrong decision trying to punch it when he should have just caught it, and you can see there he's frustrated with himself, and he's just unlucky there. The person that has ricocheted off is his own player.
Yeah, it was Saman who was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. His trailing leg made contact with the ball as it came off of Kamal's punch and was always going to roll into the empty net. I'm sure Samade would have loved to have got a touch on it himself, but just a one for him.
Well, this is really, really hard to see, and I'm sure Kamal's not going to like the sides of it, as he's pretty certain he's walking off the pitch, because Gurab is replacing him immediately after that error, and that's not going to do his confidence any good, Ben.
No, but he played well yesterday, Kamal, so if that is his last action of the Next Gen Cup, he shouldn't be too down on himself.
It's unfortunate here, though, that we have got this East Bengal player down following the set piece. Perhaps there was a bit of roughhousery going on amongst the middle of the set piece. Those players are all crowding around the box. It can get a bit physical. Arms can flail a little bit as they're trying to break free, but we've seen how physical Crystal Palace want to be this match, and perhaps it was the tactic.
Yeah, Adil can't even walk around to the bench. He's going to need to be replaced by Tanmay, one of the real leaders of East Bengal. Tanmay taking the captain's armband at times. Thing for East Bengal now is not to let this one get away from them. They had showed glimpses coming forward, but a couple of set pieces, an easy one for Samade, and then the own goal from Suman.
Yeah, you can't capitulate here. You have to keep your heads, stay resolute, keep compact, because the last thing you want to do is concede another one so quickly.
But Lamiras has lashed onto it, and across the face it goes. They want a corner. They don't get it, though.
No, but that was worrying signs already for Gurab. Not the first few seconds he would have wanted as the game restarted, but Lamiras doing so well here to intercept and then fight his man off him and find the space. He's so good at that. He just drops the shoulder and it's really difficult to stick with him, and the last thing you want is to let him onto his left foot, because as we've seen and said already today, it is so deadly and he can be so clinical, and that's what's going to hurt East Bengal if they allow him to keep finding the spaces.
Yeah, you do feel for East Bengal, but you have to say it's smart from Rob Quinn to play so many tall and physical players that are causing such problems from set pieces. Redhead is a threat in there, and Montgen also a problem. Of course, Samade is the one that's got the goal, but they get it back again here, and Osei is chasing it down. Might have been offside anyway.
Good goalkeeping there, read the danger out quickly. That's all you could ask for him in that situation. But yeah, from Rob Quinn there, as you said, maybe he is just real tactical genius, playing your man rather than playing yourself here, and he's really struck up a strategy where he can just play almost East Bengal off the pitch and beat them at really the real weakness they have.
Yeah, he'd have seen how Everton got their joy against East Bengal, and we're seeing a different Palace performance here than we saw the first time these two teams met, as another cross comes into the box from Marjoram. Corner prevented, but a lot of space there for the Palace right back.
That's nice to see as well, that these players know they don't just have to play that intricate ticky-tacky football, that they do enjoy to do so much, and what's become really custom to English football over the past 4 or 5 years. They know that the direct option is also there. A cross is also a fruitful avenue of attack, and they've shown that today how important set pieces are, and we've seen that growing in the game too.
Yeah, you've got to be multi-dimensional as East Bengal prepare another change. Sayan is going to enter the fray.
Well, that's also perhaps what Palace struggled with in their last match against Stellenbosch. They were trying to be a bit one-dimensional, just trying their passing moves, which I'm sure is what they practice mostly on the training ground. But also, you've got to recognise how big and strong that Stellenbosch side are. They've got absolute giants at the back, so across, despite the size of this Palace side, may not really be too helpful for them.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing Stellenbosch in action later on. Make sure you tune in for that, as well as the 12 o'clock fixture we have coming up shortly after this. Here's Marjoram. One's going to be cut out. They're just struggling to play their way out at the moment, though. East Bengal. That one's cut out again by Marjoram, and he needs no second invitation to drive into the penalty area. And Lashwan, he was going for that near post. Perhaps would have been better off going across the face of goal.
No, couldn't put it better myself. 100%. It was just rash with the shot. He just lashed at it. He wasn't composed, and maybe he was a bit off balance when taking that shot. He seemed to just catch it on the top of his boot rather than really getting across it. So I'm sure that'll frustrate him, because he's worked himself into a really, really good position for the first time this game.
Yeah, he does carry a threat going forward, Marjoram. Goal scorer in this fixture on Thursday. Offside flag goes up there. A bit careless.
No, definitely not needing to do that. Again, that's maybe them just overplaying it a little bit in the tighter spaces, and we've seen they don't need to be doing that. They've also got pace in this side, especially in Marjoram, who likes to get forward as one of the fullbacks, and that is part of the system, and they're not going to abandon that, Palace, at all, despite maybe the change in tactical system in other departments. These fullbacks are definitely programmed to attack, and they can afford to do so with the likes of Samada in defence, who is so strong and fast.
Yeah, fullbacks have been a real theme of Crystal Palace's attacking work. Here's Dashi. And we hope that Tyler White is okay after he had to be taken off after feeling dizzy against Stellenbosch.
That's much better from Jasil as well, being physical there against his opponent. Something we want to see more from this East Bengal side, and maybe he's just set a tempo, because this is a really good press now. And if they can keep that up for a few moments, you don't know, maybe it will just unsettle such an at ease and comfortable Palace side at this moment in time. Give them something else to think about.
One's wayward from Marjoram, but they're in complete control at the moment. Palace, 15 minutes in, this is exactly what they would have wanted. Finish their Next Gen Cup campaign off with a good win. Of course, not over yet. East Bengal have not scored in this competition to date. So motivation is surely at an all-time high to make sure they don't come away without having found the back of the net. From their perspective, Ollie, you'd think they may as well go for it, and it doesn't matter if they concede more, just try and come away with a goal to remember.
Yeah, it looks like it is heading in that direction for East Bengal, but as we say, they've still got plenty of time in this match. But when you've got Ramirez, who can just adjust so easily when the ball comes to his feet, regardless of quality of pass.
Offside against Ossé, but again, they're just looking for those balls through the lines. That time, Kyrese Adams-Coleman tried to pick out the run of his teammate.
Yeah, but they'll be doing that all game, won't they? They are okay to get into the box when the cross comes in, and they're more than happy to pass it round the back, but they really want to also play those intercepting passes, sorry. And they've got those midfielders in the park like Coleman, like Lamiros, who have that role in this team.
Everton have gone 5-1 up against Muthoot on pitch 2. So it looks as though a couple of the English sides are going to finish their week off with a win. Punjab will be the last Indian side left to play, and they did beat Everton yesterday, so they'll fancy it against Aston Villa at lunchtime. Marjoram getting into the box, and the low ball across is cut out confidently there, but Marjoram will get another go. He's brought down just outside the box by Jasil. Just a clever touch there that fooled the East Bengal defender.
Yeah, really skillful there, and we love to see it. He's just done with a little step over, and it's caught out the number 56, Jasil, and he's picked up a yellow card for his troubles too. Perhaps a little bit harsh, but the little kick out may have also been a little unnecessary out of frustration from such a clever little bit of footwork. So he's not just fast, is he?
No, and I think the shirt pull was so cynical and blatant, the referee had no choice really but to brandish that yellow, and it does offer another opportunity for all those imposing figures to crowd the 6-yard box. Howen is the one that's given the responsibility to try and carve out a third for the Eagles. Referee just wants to sort out some shirt pulling and jostling in the box. Ramirez has come short. Should Cowan wish to use him, but you'd imagine they just want to try and find the head of one of those taller players. Montgen's in there, Samade, who's been a threat so far.
Well, Pekka is reading the danger if it is short.
Does go in low, cut out, comes out as far as Marjoram, and Montgen was just trying to control that with his left foot before unleashing a shot, just got away from him.
Yeah, but he's in the right position, and that is also what matters in terms of confidence going forward for the youngster. But yeah, no, still decent from Palace. Probably the easier option was to go short there from the left-footed set piece.
Sense a little bit of the belief has gone out of East Bengal since that second goal. We saw them respond well to the first, but again, the set piece for the story of their week.
It's the own goal as well. When you know you're the culprit of your own downfall, it's really difficult to swallow.
Ramirez galloping forward again, and Marjoram making the run, which drags the defender out and allows the cross, and it's another own goal. And Sunil has swiped it into his own net. Lamiras had the space open up for him. And it's another ball into the box. It's not dealt with, Ollie, and it's 3-0 before half-time.
That's gutting. And the shirt goes immediately over his face. Check the shoelaces. Perhaps they were undone. Find an excuse. But it does all start with this incredible cross-field diagonal from back to front, and it's Ramirez, of course, who's putting this ball into the box. Who else would you expect to cause unrest at the back for East Bengal? But it is an easy clearance, one would expect, when the ball had gone in. But Ramirez won't be minding that at all. He can consider that an assist to his name. But yeah, no, it's a really difficult sight, and he won't be wanting to watch that one back. He just took his eye off the ball, maybe a little bobble as well as it came to his feet at the decisive moment, and the keeper could do nothing about it. It's passed him in a flash. But that's the danger that this Crystal Palace side do pose. Even when they go direct, they've got the speed to beat their man, and they are so good at playing on the last man's shoulder too. So just need to keep your eye out like this again.
Marjoram, another ball in. This time it is confidently dealt with and cleared not been able to get Guite Baker involved enough thus far, and it's given away again, this time to Montgen. Ramirez can pick it up. Dashi, and he gets his shot off, and what a finish, and that's the pick of the bunch from Matteo Dashi, and suddenly it's 4.
That might be game within 20 minutes, and I don't like to call things so early. And of course, if Crystal Palace can do it in 20, there's no reason why East Bengal can't too, technically, and we've still got another 30 or 40 minutes to go in this match, 30 minutes even so. But Ramirez again at the centre of this, he just knew the right pass, but that first touch from Dashiel is so important to get the ball out of his feet and into a position where he can just take the shot on unobstructed as well. Look how he just shifts the ball away from his man, and they just can't get close enough to him. But the precision in that shot as well was absolutely perfect. Gurab had no chance, really, again, to save that attempt from Dashi, who I'm sure is going to be happy to cap his time with the captain's armband with a goal. But yeah, no, superb strike. Another long distance shot we've seen, and that's just overly ambitious. I'm sorry, and that's a really calm touch by the keeper there. Koshiba having a little bit of fun himself. Perhaps saying to the coach, well, we've scored 4, can I go out onto the pitch and maybe find myself a goal?
Yeah, Dashi signed his first professional contract with the Eagles last month, and what a moment that was to celebrate that. Goalkeeper Gurab has had absolutely no chance with either of the goals he's conceded.
So I'm sure he's happy now to just find the ball in his gloves for once, as it's been a long time since he's been able to do that. Either keeper for East Bengal have been able to do that with such clinicality from these Crystal Palace players when they get forward.
You feel this is a response from Palace to that defeat yesterday. They've really come out wanting to make a statement, as that's confidently done from Koshiba.
Best not get complacent though. You can have your fun, of course, but you still need to show your signs of respect, because this is an Indian side who really still can hurt you if you give them the opportunity.
Here they come, and it's come into a good area, but the finish from Tanmay was all wrong. Just came across it too much, took it to guide it into that far corner. That's probably their best moment of the game.
Undoubtedly so, and he's opened up his body, and it's not necessarily the wrong thing to do there, but he's just opened it a bit too much there, and he's angled his foot very well wide of the far post of Crystal Palace. But really, really good in the press and intensity that East Bengal have showed, and they need to do that a little bit more. A clever cutback too. Didn't have to get his head up, he knew exactly where his teammate was going to be, and that's what happens when you work those kind of routines on the training ground. But you've got to be able to finish them off, especially when you're 4-0 down. You can't be wasting opportunities like that. Crystal Palace have shown why they're such a good team and why they're performing at such an elite level, and that's because they can score goals.
Yeah, and recognising that was Binu George, the East Bengal head coach down below us. He was furious with Tanmay when that one went wide. I think they're just so frustrated that they've started this competition fairly promisingly, losing 1-0 to today's opponents, Crystal Palace, and showing positive signs. And they got to half-time against Everton, goalless, but then suddenly 6 goals conceded there, and 4 yesterday, and 4 here, and they're not going to go home in as good a mood as they might have done. Not much they can do about the height advantage that Palace made count to go ahead and eventually 2-0 up, but the 2 goals that have followed have just perhaps been down to their heads dropping slightly, Ollie.
No, I'd have to agree with you there. And again though, Palace, I think they've learned from their little mistake where they got a little bit too cocky for the likes of the management as well, who I'm sure would have been quite frustrated with that. But that's again a missed kick clearance from Sahil, and he needs to and he needs to be a little bit more careful now when the ball does come to him. Relax his nerves, because you don't want to be making any more mistakes in this match. You don't want an embarrassing scoreline against you again.
Yeah, you wonder if damage limitation might be on their minds, but as I said, they want to come away from England with a goal to talk about when they get back to India. They're the only team not to have scored.
Do you think they'd settle just for a goal now?
I think so. I think Cowan might have eyes for 5, as will Dashi, who scored from this sort of position before. Cowan with time to pick out a cross. Redhead was lurking in the box.
Better though there from East Bengal, dealing with those crosses into the box. They have got a little bit of height there when they are defending by Cyan, but they definitely need to try and spot the danger before it's getting into those more threatening positions, stopping the crosses coming in. That has to be their really #1 priority.
That's good feet from Ashik to get out of that situation. He has released Guite Peka, just maybe not quite enough weight on the pass, and Mwana was able to get there first. The flick there from Guite Peka, who was expecting Ashik to be running beyond him, but breaks down again.
Coleman's just managed to stroll through this game, really, in that more defensive midfield position, and he's loving the chance just to be able to feed it into both flanks, into the 2 midfielders up in front of him as well, because they're the ones who are really sliding it into Redhead and into the flanks when their fullbacks make their way up the pitch, which is such a regular occurrence. And it's Cowan more so now, isn't it, who's seeing towards the end of the half more of the ball.
Yeah, we've seen Benamar and Cowan both prove to be effective on that left-hand side of the fence. Likewise, Marjoram and Tyler White on the right-hand side. They got depth across the pitch, like-for-like replacements in many areas. Here's Musharraf. And the half-time whistle blows, and it's been one-way traffic. Crystal Palace have the 4-0 lead against East Bengal. Couple of set pieces, couple of own goals, and Matteo Dashi with the pick of the bunch as he made it 4 with the captain's armband.
Yeah, just another note there, just towards the end of the game we see, or end of half, we see East Bengal just stringing some passes together, perhaps lifting their confidence as they go into the second half. But Sunil does not look comfortable with the ball. He doesn't want it, and if they want to play out from the back, East Bengal, they might have a problem with him there, because not only is he struggling when it comes to him defensively to his feet, but also just in game generally. So that is something maybe the management needs to look at. With 4-0 currently the scoreline against them, you don't want this to get any worse, do you? And perhaps that can even be playing on his mind a bit more. But here we see a goal at least from Crystal Palace, and it came off the head from Samada. It was a really, really good delivery. Actually, you could argue inch perfect from the man in the cast, Cowan, but that didn't distract him in this match, and it left Kamal no real chance from such close range. Although down the middle of the goal almost, he got enough power, which was aided by the superb corner kick. And this one wasn't too bad itself from Dashi, who can consider himself to have got an assist. It is, of course, a goalkeeping error that's led to this goal. Unfortunately for Kamal, who has had such a good tournament, just deciding to punch it there instead of catching it. And it's the man in the wrong place at the wrong time, isn't it? It's the same story that you see a lot of the time, and I worry if it is Sunil again to get 2 own goals, and if so, it's understandable. why he's been so uncomfortable when the ball has come to his feet since that moment. And this is another example of it. It's on his weaker foot, but somebody needs to communicate with him. I think he thinks he's more rushed than he is. But Dashi, again, so pivotal to this move as he finds that pass to Ramirez. What vision it is from the youngster who's only been at the club for a month, but he seems to have struck such a good relationship with all of these players. And then you come to the fourth goal, and Dashi gets his reward for his involvement so far in 3 of the 4. And what a beautiful strike that is. The footwork is integral to this one. Number 4, and it's some way to cap off this first half for Crystal Palace. And I'm sure he'll be happy with his overall performance, receiving the joy and privilege of the captain's armband to end this competition that he's really shone in, I think, and it's given him a real platform to show why Crystal Palace have signed him, and all his players there are running over to him, congratulating him. They're proud of him too, because this is a big occasion for himself, especially endearing himself to you Palace fans, and also putting on a really nice show for East Bengal, who unfortunately cannot give the same in return for their fans watching today. But they have also shown signs, Ben, haven't they?
Especially at 1-0 down, that's when you thought the momentum of the game might have changed a little bit in their favour, but the own goal from Suman just swung it back in Palace's favour. So, big job on for them in the second half. East Bengal to try and give those watching from India something to celebrate. Crystal Palace certainly don't look like a team that should be playing in a 7th and 8th place playoff. Did finish level on points with Everton, just 1 behind Tottenham and Villa, so those penalty shootouts really were the difference. Crystal Palace lost their shootout to Muthoot, and penalties have been an issue for them across the competition. Benji Casey missed one yesterday in regulation time against Stellenbosch. No penalty shootout after this game, of course. This is the playoff phase of the Next Gen Cup.
Well, you say that, unless East Bengal managed to get 4 goals in this second half, and we've seen it's doable. We saw Everton bag 6 of their own in a single half. Unfortunately, again, it was East Bengal on the wrong side, but they could take some lessons of second half inspiration, perhaps, from their last game when they did concede 6.
Yeah, and Punjab also put in an exemplary second half display yesterday against Everton to overturn the deficit, come away with a win, showing that these Indian teams are capable of victories against English opposition. But the physicality and the size difference really been the difference here, and once they got those goals from the set pieces, you started to see Dashi and the Miras go through the gears, and confidence levels through the roof for those boys. You would like to see Benji Casey come on and score. He's been through the ringer a bit this week, and I'm not sure if we will see him just yet, but certainly someone I'm rooting for, Ollie.
Yeah, and I'm with you there. He really struggled yesterday after the penalty miss. He did lose his head. He lost his cool a little bit and picked up that yellow card as a result of that. But he's a talented young man, Casey, and he's only young, I think around the age of 16, 17, playing with the likes of 20-year-olds against this Indian side and throughout the competition too also. So he can take a bit of confidence from that, the fact he is competing with the older ages. But I'm sure he would really want a goal to seal his performances and also just get that penalty miss off his mind before he starts his season.
Yeah, and I'm very happy to see Tyler White getting ready to come on. He was someone that we saw yesterday, Ollie, struggling with the heat a little bit. He complained of dizziness, and he definitely looked a bit groggy as he came back to the bench after being withdrawn.
Certainly, and he put in a really good performance as well against the likes of the Major and Bailey too, and even Avantier, who you will be commentating on later and have the privilege to watch, as Stellenbosch have, of course, been probably the standout side when it comes to 50 minutes. But they have, of course, struggled as well in the penalty shootouts. But yeah, no, on the note of White, he's been a really good performer for his side. And Mwana was the one also who replaced him yesterday and who made an incredible goal line clearance himself to show why he was brought in over some potential other replacements for the starting right back White. So yeah, it's good to see both of them on the pitch in this current or upcoming phase of play. But yeah, it's cooler day, isn't it, too? So hopefully the heat won't be affecting him again.
Yeah, it looks like Marjoram is going to sit down. Had a good impact going forward in the first half. But yeah, I will be going off to Loughborough after this game to see Tottenham versus Stellenbosch in the final of what's been a fascinating Next Gen Cup in 2024. The only thing we've not seen is a East Bengal goal, so 25 minutes for them to put that right. Crystal Palace, of course, will want to keep the clean sheet. They didn't concede in their first couple of games.
Well, they seem to be en route again to that, and they of course only have conceded the one goal, so they can keep their heads high. But again, we saw it slightly. They got slightly too complacent, and it did allow East Bengal that one opportunity, which perhaps they probably should have taken through 10 men. I'm sure that was also brought up in the East Bengal half-time team talk, just press, and we're seeing them start that way this half. But these are unfamiliar weather conditions for the side from India as well, so that could just also be playing a part in the physical level of this match.
Just as the sun does actually start to come out. And East Bengal have got 25 minutes. Try and find a route back into it, and of course they don't want to get pumped. They don't want another 6-0 or perhaps worse.
No, definitely, and I'm sure the Palace players will be saying to each other on this pitch as the game goes on.
Sheba just came out to deal with that one, not taking any chances.
No, that's good goalkeeping from the man who has come in to replace Hill, who has had a remarkable tournament himself. But this man as well, between the sticks, Kashiba, has also shown his weight worth in goals. And just really exemplifying it, I am really sure these players are probably saying, don't get complacent relax a little, friend, this won't take too long. They've only got 25 minutes left to see this one through and just avoid finishing bottom of the tournament.
I'll say. And now Cowan. Oh, he was just trying to find Redhead there. Getting to the byline again. Still willing to get forward. Cowan, he always looks to do that.
Yeah, no, they're really attacking, aren't they? These full-backs, and they will relish the opportunity to put more crosses into the box against this East Bengal side, and it's really probably the game for the rest of the season where they'll find them the most opportunities doing so. Because again, when they do face their typical Premier League opposition, they will be stronger, they will be bigger, and probably match these players' size. So you want to take advantage of these games, perhaps for the English side. But it also does provide an opportunity for East Bengal to develop other skills.
Yeah, well, let's see how they get on from this corner. Only 4 players in the box. No surprise to see him go short. Ashik. And he's a shot from distance. It just sums up the difficulties because they knew that a cross into the box would have been likely dealt with by Palace, and then they just work it around the edge of the box, and it results in a pretty speculative effort that wasn't never troubling the goalkeeper.
Yeah, no, you're right there, Ben. As always. But yeah, there's just a little heavy touch there, driving out the back.
Redhead, can he get there first? Well, it's good goalkeeping there from Gurab to deny Caleb Redhead, who was springing clear.
Too easy, but from heavy touch to through on goal. I mean, that's how football works, isn't it? It's a funny little game. You can make a mistake, but so easily recover and turn it into a brilliant opportunity.
I'll say was just challenging Cyan there, and the referee didn't like it.
Yeah, no, he's apologised as well. Didn't realise the advantage was going to ensue, but that's much better to see. Cyan there using his strength, going shoulder to shoulder with Jose. And they haven't done that enough this game. They've almost been afraid to use their bodies and throw themselves around. But they're showing they can do it. So perhaps the management are getting a bit frustrated as well with these players, just shying out of these challenges, which has put them 4 goals behind, really, because it has come from a lack of intensity and a lack of pressure when Palace are on the ball in and around their goal. So they really need to do a bit more of that, and they win the ball back as well because Palace aren't expecting it.
Again, they go short. Does lead to a cross, but, well, don't need me to say they got that all wrong. Cyan looking to deliver into the box, but perhaps the pass from Guite Preka was a bit heavy in the first instance.
Yeah, they've not probably got quite the ability when it comes to crossing as Crystal Palace have shown today. But it's not their game plan, so it is understandable in doing so. Awfully quiet, isn't it, on both sidelines?
Both teams know which way this game is going. But that's an interception high up the pitch and is spread across towards Cyan, and now Guite Preka might go alone. Guite Preka, and he went down under the challenge of Kyrese Adams-Coleman, and that might have been something out of nothing. Referee was convinced that there wasn't enough contact there. Here's Redhead. Across the face, and corner is given, but well, that could have been ropey for Palace. Guite Preka showing some real trickery in the box, and just not enough contact there perhaps for the referee to award the penalty. They're just having a word with each other now.
I think it was a little bit of desperation there, perhaps, that crept into the mind of Preka. There wasn't enough contact for him to go down. I think he was trying to buy the penalty there. Just find that elusive goal for East Bengal that they've scored so many of in the past when playing in India.
And again, it's a problem for the goalkeeper, and Redhead is the one to punish. Indecisive defending from the corner, and it is 5-0. Caleb Redhead takes the congratulations, and you just knew that something was going to come from that corner, Ollie.
Yeah, no, you did, and it's Masharaf this time who's the culprit from a set piece or cross. When it comes into the box, they really don't know what to do with the ball, and they can't get it away. Perhaps, again, height coming into it, he just couldn't jump high enough, and he's knocked it past his own goalkeeper, and it's just given the chance there for Redhead to swing a foot at it and find the goal. So he'll be happy. I'm sure Casey's a bit envious of him being on the pitch in this match. He's probably thinking, oh, I would have scored that, I would have scored that. But no, Redhead takes the glory in this occasion, and he does make it 5. You've got to be there, and that's all down as well to the set-piece coaches just putting their players in the right positions in case the ball does drop like that. The goalkeeper, though, Gurab, gambled, and it didn't pay off this time, unfortunately for him. But what they do have to avoid here is giving the ball away again so quickly after conceding like they did when Dashi scored his.
Yeah, I don't think you can really blame Gurab there. Like you said, the touch from the defender just took it away from him and fell to Redhead off the ricochet. Set pieces again, just causing problems. The striker's instinct from Redhead, he was alive to it in the 6-yard box, and he's been good value for that goal. It all came from a penalty appeal down the other end initially.
Which the referee did really well not to give. It's difficult sometimes when you've got so many eyes on you to resist the pressure and potentially sometimes the temptation, because emotions come into it and you are feeling a little bit bad for this East Bengal side, as they haven't been as bad as the scoreline reflects, and they haven't obviously got that goal, which Crystal Palace nearly got another one.
Cowan now drifting into the centre and across to the right, and was looking to feed it through to Tyler White, who not seen so much of since he was introduced. Well, Crystal Palace's joy coming on the left-hand side. Here's Guite Peka again. Always seems to have 2 or 3 bodies around him in claret and blue.
Well, they know what a tricky and dangerous player he is, but potentially a bit undervalued by the coaching staff in this instance, or just trying to protect him, as they are obviously going back to India tomorrow. And you don't want him to be injured for when you start your actual season. And I'm sure they've got higher ambitions than where they finished in this competition for the league table and domestic cups.
Samade, who opened the scoring. Again, they look down this left-hand side, and it will find its way to Freddie Cowan. He's got all sorts of space. Inside to Redhead, and Al Dashi looking for the run of Montgen. Lovely football. What a goal that is. I'm not sure if it went in initially off Montgen or whether it was Redhead who bundled it in off the bar. We'll have to see.
Well, that's something the players can argue amongst themselves about. It's not what Gurab cares about. It's not what the coaches care about. What matters to those 2 groups is the goal, and this is it. Again, coming down that left-hand side, but that's such neat football by Crystal Palace, and we can't tell. It doesn't look like it crosses the line, unfortunately, for him, with Montgen getting into the position to begin with, and it was a really, really clever run, as we see, just coming from that right-hand side. His man can't follow him. He comes from his blind side, but Redhead doing what every good striker does, and he did it exactly the same for the first goal, following in, jogging on the spot and making sure he's there for the second ball, and he's done that exceptionally well, and it was brave as well from him because he had to compete with the goalkeeper.
It was beautiful football from start to finish. As soon as it came out to Cowan, he was given too much time, but the ball into Dashi, who been so clever this morning, the number 10. He's got his goal and been involved in the build-up for several of the others. And, well, it's 6-0 with quite a bit of time to go, and you do start to fear for East Bengal at this stage. Opportunity for them!
Oh.
Their best opportunity, and it had to be saved by Kashiba. Maybe just switching off momentarily, Crystal Palace. And it almost led to a 1 back for East Bengal. Dashi could be in again here. Osei get the corner.
That's a lot better from the Indian side, East Bengal there. But Dashi again just feeding it into the running players who love to burst past this defence when the ball isn't being crossed into the box. I mean, they can do so much, this Crystal Palace side, and the 6 goals reflect that, as they've come from different avenues of attacks, some being obviously set pieces, some being infield crosses, and others just being pure beautiful football where they are able to slice open this East Bengal side with a few touches, as they're so composed when it is that one-touch football we've loved to see here in England. And the Indian side too probably want to adopt a little bit more of that, and that's what they've come here to learn. And it is a really harsh lesson being given to them by Crystal Palace, similarly to what they received by Everton, but they're seeing what can work in a game of football and how you can score goals. And it's difficult to beat a team when they're at their own game, and perhaps that's what they're a bit apprehensive to do here, as they do stick to their more authentic tactics, East Bengal, and it's not bearing fruit for them. But as we say, it nearly did. It really nearly did, and it was through a cross.
Yeah, and a well-struck volley at the back post. First time that she was really been called into action. But now it's a corner, and these have been fruitful for Palace all morning. Dashi to the edge of the box for Lamiras, and it's a clever ball towards the back post. They do deal with it, East Bengal, and they might have a chance to counter, but Koshiba was not going to allow that to happen.
Brilliant starting position from the goalkeeper there. He may have looked a tad worried when the ball fell at the feet of East Bengal from that corner kick, who defended it a lot better than they have done so far, but the decision was run with the ball rather than try and lob the keeper, which we've seen some other international sides do, perhaps when desperation calls. But East Bengal still looking to constantly play their football, and they don't want to just be rash with the ball.
Charlie Walker-Smith comes on to replace Sean Samade, one of the Palace goal scorers. He'll be happy with his Next Gen Cup campaign.
That's just the physicality again there. That is superior by Walker-Smith there, and they can't really do much more when it comes to a situation like that. East Bengal, they've just got to keep fighting. It's a long road, of course, but they've still got 15 minutes to at least get a goal in this game, make the scoreline look a little prettier, because Palace looks so comfortable on the ball.
Took a risk there, Sheba. They just about get away there with Dashi and Iris Adams-Coleman. Here's White. Looking for Lamiras. That will go out for a goal kick, and now there's a Palace player down. And a few injuries in this game.
That's going to be, though, fatigue as well. Their bodies have been through a lot over the past 4 days. I mean, playing 4 matches in 4 days is a lot for any player, especially in the heat we've experienced, and to really transfer into cold conditions overnight will take its toll on anybody's body, never mind such young men. So it's understandable why people are going down, feeling the effects of a challenge a little bit more today. I think we can take a little bit of relief and confidence in the fact it's not likely to be serious, more just a little bit more pain and tenderness when there is a knock, when there is a little bit of a fall on these really beautiful and incredible pitches, and perhaps as well something the Indian side isn't used to playing on, and why Palace feel a lot more comfortable and safe knocking the ball around. They're aware there aren't going to be maybe those bubbles you experience on these Indian pitches, because of course Aston Villa have so much money invested into these facilities.
Not sure if Moana is going to continue. They're just going to take another quick look at him, I think. In the meantime, we'd say Pika is going to come back on. So about 14 minutes left for East Bengal to try and get something moving in the right direction for themselves. They had come close a moment ago with Cyan, but Palace are threatening, and you got Redhead looking for his hat-trick, of course. Debojic forcing Moana, who is back on the pitch, to just blast that one into the trees.
Yeah, that ball's gone. That is bon voyage to one of these wonderful and incredible footballs. They're really hard, aren't they, Ben? We had a feel of them the other day. You would not like to be on the end of one of those crashing into your thigh. And we thought Sondiko balls were bad.
So, opportunity for East Bengal to flood the penalty area. They got a free kick, which is pretty much as good as a corner. They do put more bodies in the box this time than the previous instance where we saw them with a corner from that far side, and just having a discussion as to what they're going to do with it.
I think we're all anticipating a short free kick here.
Cross does come in though, and Koshiba had to double take there, but free kick was given against East Bengal anyway.
Yeah, rightly so. Koshiba's done really well though to reclaim the ball after the little spill, despite the strong challenge on him there by the attacker.
Oh, and that's a mistake from Koshiba. And can Guite Pika make the most of it?
Oh, you just hear the shriek there coming from the East Bengal bench. You can't believe it. Those are two now glorious opportunities. We've seen one in the first and one in the second from mistakes from Crystal Palace when they do become a little bit complacent from this really extraordinary scoreline.
Yeah, it was Kyrie's Adams Coleman that got back and just did enough to put Guite Pika off. It wasn't an easy chance, but that will give some belief to the Indian side.
You can see it's that press already, getting the numbers up the pitch. They have the quality, they have the capability. They're showing too much respect to these England sides.
All up in the air, bit of head tennis, but the touch from Guite Pika did just get it into the path of Debojit. Decent spell.
Well, that says a lot. That says a lot. That long ball from Cowan. They were a bit worried there under the cosh. Anywhere would do, really, for Crystal Palace.
That's a nice touch as well from Gurnash.
Good signs here. Really good signs for East Bengal. And when you've got momentum, you need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, probably realising they've only got a dozen minutes to register a goal in the Next Gen Cup, but that's given away, and Dashi is impotent in those situations, fouled by Lamiras there. Bengal wanted to get on with it. They have got more bodies in the Palace half than we've seen for the rest of the game. Again, looking to make progress that time. Bruce Sayan. Guite Pika.
Good last 2 or 3 minutes here for East Bengal. Palace just had to retreat a little bit here.
Given away again though. And I say looking for Redhead with the outside of his foot. Well defended from Adil. And that's a searching ball and a really good one. More defending for Tyler White to do. And it comes, headed away by Moana. And Guite Pika battling with him. And the referee gives the free kick, and that bails Palace out of that situation.
Yeah, they want to take their time here, I think, just recuperate. Because although we do have the stop clock system in place and it won't waste time exactly, it will just allow them to regather, recollect their thoughts and just get back into the fluid structure and system they had before. Because they're looking a little bit stretched here now.
But they got the bodies forward. They will get chances if they carry on like that, but so will Palace. And here's Osei as they search for a seventh. Wondered if he was going to unleash one. Instead, it's a one to the path of Osse, who was brought down, and it is a penalty.
Well, they'll try to manipulate you through your pockets, and that's exactly what they've done. It was really, really good there from Crystal Palace, and we've seen it a couple of times now, how brilliant they can be on the ball when they get it at their feet in advanced positions. And the penalty is drawn in by a fantastic turn inside the box, just tempting it too much, and the defender from East Bengal couldn't help himself but have a little bit of a nibble, and that's exactly really what what Suman did not want to do. But the number 16 of Crystal Palace was certainly waiting for the contact, and Dash is probably the deserved taker of this penalty from his performance.
And he makes no mistake. Dashi gets his second of the game. It is 7-0. And just as you were seeing some promising signs from East Bengal as an attacking prospect, the Eagles come down the other end and make it 7, and that is the highest score we've seen from a team in a game at this event.
Well, that's the difference, isn't it? A lot between the two sides, and it's just about taking your chances when you're on top. Momentum in football is so important, and it can swing so quickly, even in the form of counter-attacks within the split second. But East Bengal haven't taken advantage of the time when they have had momentum, and they have used that one single second there, Crystal Palace, to switch it up, and they went into third gear straight from first. There was completely no chance they were going into second in between, and they've now managed to get their 7th there. A really sleek football once again from the sides in claret and blue.
Yeah, that's a real dagger for East Bengal, but they continue to come forward. I did say you may as well go for it, and if you concede a few more, who cares? Just get that goal that you've been craving all week. Still looking to manoeuvre something, and this might be the chance, and it is! They've got their goal, and it's Debojit who has capped off a lovely move. And there you go, Ollie. East Bengal are on the score sheet.
Well, where's that been all tournament? Ben, look at that. All right, that has been misread there by the defending team in Campbell, but that's such nice football from East Bengal. See what happens when you keep it on the floor and just play it into the path of your player. Don't ask too much of them. But in each pass in that move, the weight was absolutely perfect. And you worried for a second, did they overplay it with that final pass across the goal just to take the keeper out of the equation? Could it allow the defender to get back into position? But no, it was really, really, really clinical for once from this East Bengal side. And I'm sure that'll be a nice takeaway.
Oh, and Montgen.
What a save.
Almost scored right at the other end straight away.
Really, really good save there from Gurab, and Monjan, after winning that penalty through a really good use of his body in the turn and such a quick touch around the corner. In the more important time, where it came to shooting, perhaps needing a little bit of a heavier touch, he couldn't quite set it out far enough away from the goalkeeper into the corner, but the goalkeeper's done tremendously there to get his tall frame down and manage to push it away from danger, which again isn't always easy.
More danger might be coming. This time it's well dealt with.
Stronger.
And another chance here for East Bengal to spread their legs.
Campbell redeemed himself a little bit there with his defensive work against the two East Bengal attackers. But he is so confident on the ball, Campbell, isn't he? Him and Dashi make a really good partnership in the middle of that pitch. Complement each other really well.
Redhead looking for Osse. Dashi on a hat-trick. And he was looking for Montgen, who was offside.
Goalkeeper did well just to watch that all the way there, because he did have a little bit of impairment to his vision from that run across him.
Ramirez. Looking for Cowan, and it will reach him via the defender. Rite Pika, who was instrumental in East Bengal's goal. And for another flick there, and that goal from Debojit was a real reward for East Bengal fans tuning in India. They've taken a few batterings this week, but that's only that they were able to conjure a moment of quality like that despite all that. Something they deserve credit for.
Yeah, no, of course, and I'm sure that everyone at home is going to be chuffed to see them score, including the neutrals. And despite Crystal Palace being disappointed, of course, conceding again, unable to keep another clean sheet, which would have looked very impressive in the record books. I'm sure they're happy as well for their opponents today.
That's a wicked cross. Way it goes, but Ramirez.
Because that's the nature of the Next Generation Cup, isn't it? It's a competitive tournament, as we know, and everyone wants to win it, and Stellenbosch and Tottenham have the chance later. But also, there's a friendly element to it. It's still pre-season for both these sides. And you want it to be a learning experience for all.
Certainly been a learning experience for us watching, getting to know some of these academy prospects from the Premier League sides and the overseas outfits. Plenty of young talent to keep our eye on as they go through the ranks.
Certainly, certainly. And towards the end of this match, okay, the 3 conceded in the second half rather than 4 for East Bengal. Some of the players have shown their talent, especially the more offensive ones.
Here's Kyrie's Adams-Coleman. Ramirez, lovely feet. Bundled over, but no foul. And they get bodies forward here, East Bengal, as Rite Pika finds the goal scorer, Debojit. Now Guraj. And the delivery is not going to catch Kashiba out too much on it.
No, Hill's coming in obviously for the last 10 minutes or so of this match, and I don't think he's going to have quite as much as Kashiba did in the game. And he was very happy to see that go well over his bar. Just no execution this time from East Bengal, but still getting a bit further forward when the time comes. So who knows, they might be able to bag their second of the tournament as well. There's still plenty of time to do so.
Still time for Redhead and Dashi to maybe secure their hat-tricks as well. As they flood forward here with Osei. To a decent area, it might come from Montgen. Perhaps he and Redhead just getting in each other's way there. Gunash.
Yeah, both just a bit eager now to get on the score sheet, perhaps knowing there's a little time left on the clock. And with 7 goals to the team's name, each player wants one to their name, I'm sure.
Yeah, in the heat of the moment, East Bengal staff might be a bit annoyed about how this game's panned out, but at least they did get that goal. Sort of been rooting for them to get it over the last couple of games after they took that battering from Everton. Here's another chance as Adams-Coleman is dispossessed and they get a free kick in a very dangerous position.
Well, this one you shoot. They don't have to worry about winning the aerial duels. This is just get it over probably that 6'2" average sized wall that Crystal Palace, I'm sure, are going to put up to block this, so Hill doesn't have much of a challenge himself in the imminent future. But how are they going to decide who takes this? Is it a matter of who wants it more, who's feeling more confident in the moment, or is it, well, I'm a set piece taker, I'm taking this?
Well, Gurnage is the one that's placed the ball down. I was surprised to see Guite Pica walk away from it, but it's all been left to Gurnage. And it's just over the bar from him. It's always going to be difficult to get it up and down with that wall, with those tall players, as you mentioned, Ollie.
No, certainly, but he did well to get it over them, because it is really, really close to the wall, of course, and there isn't a lot of time, as you say, to get it down once it rises, but there wasn't a lot of angle either. He could have tried maybe bending it a bit further away from the goalkeeper, but it was too easy, even if it were to end up on target for Hill, who's had a really impressive tournament. I'm sure he probably wished it was on target, give him something to do whilst he's on this pitch.
Cyan, look at the space Guite Pica's in through the middle. Move breaks down, and that allows Montgen to find Dashi, and as is so often been the case, he's got Cowan to his left. Looking for Dashi again, and he does keep it alive. Out I'll say. Cowan. That's a good tackle, but it will be a corner.
Really, really good challenge here, but Crystal Palace are pushing for an 8th, aren't they? They're not content with just the 7, perhaps thinking, well, we want at least a 7-goal difference. And corners always are very, very fruitful for them and really dangerous. We've seen it's probably the biggest vulnerability of this East Bengal side, and a lesson, a note they may take back home tomorrow.
Dashi with a delivery after the 1-2. Couldn't beat the first man with the corner, but here's the Miras. So back from Marseille, and it's opened up here. Oh, he was looking to find Redhead, who's on a hat-trick.
For once, missed really timing and missed waiting the pass, unlike Lemiras.
Cyan. Loses out. We move towards the very end of this contest. East Bengal on the end of another heavy defeat, but they did get the last laugh with that Debojit goal. Would have been a real shame if they came away without registering an effort. But Debojit had the easiest of tasks after a lovely little move.
Yeah, Campbell not too happy about that. It was a bit cynical from Debojit there. He didn't need to make that. That was a little kick out, perhaps frustration with the scoreline, which can be understandable, but as you say, take pride in the 1 goal you've scored at least. Always try and look for that silver lining.
One last chance then to deliver across, and it's another easy one for Hill to gather, and that is going to be the last action when they get rid of this. There you go. So that brings an end to Crystal Palace and East Bengal's Next Gen Cup campaigns, and it's been Crystal Palace's morning. 7-1 victory for them. 4 in the first half, 3 more in the second before an East Bengal consolation late on. Couple of goals from Caleb Redhead and a couple from Matteo Dashi, both of whom have been at the heart of everything this morning. Freddie Cowan also a real threat for them, Ollie, down that left-hand side all game.
Yeah, he didn't get much of a run out against Stellenbosch, but perhaps the coach is realising, well, he is a really important member of this team and he can provide quality moments at the right time, and that's what he did today. So maybe a little bit of regret not starting him yesterday in a game that was so crucial to getting them to the final. But we'll just run through the 7 goals here, and this is the first one, which Samada slotted away from the goal, from the corner kick. Another set piece here. You've got Dashi taking it. Cowan probably confusing the defenders, as the wall really did split apart from this, but the goalkeeper error is what we're going to be talking about. Despite the own goal really being the result of it, the keeper stitched up his defender, unfortunately. And Dashi here being instrumental once again with the incredible long ball, catching the defence out when they're trying to play the high line, but you can't do that when you've got the likes of Ramirez who want to be on the ball in any area of the pitch, and they're happy to find any pocket of space. And Ramirez is battling here as well, just like Mondstad, who was so physical throughout the game when it came to them in the areas further up the pitch. And he wasn't going to miss that, was he ever, with the confidence and form he'd been in, and he obviously got another goal, but it was after this other goal for Crystal Palace, and it was Cowan providing the magic here, and Redhead being the one to finish the move off. And that's another sign of how clinical they are from the set piece. This Cowan again finding himself on the ball in menacing positions, but this was probably the best bit of football that Palace played, and it only required 2 or 3 passes for them to be in and around that 6-yard line. And Redhead, again was the man there, but this is Dashi getting his 2nd of the game, and really they're thinking the roads are on fire here, because that was making it 7. Unfortunately they did concede, but for East Bengal that was a really happy moment for them, and I'm sure they'll be over the moon just to take the 1 goal back and soften the blow of 7 goals going into their own nets.
Indeed, and a couple of members of the Palace squad, Sebastian Williams and Caleb Redhead, are with Grant Ibokwe.
We're pitchside at the final game of the Premier League Next Gen Cup 2024. I'm with 2 Crystal Palace players after their very impressive win today. I'm with Caleb Redhead, 2 goal scorer, and I'm with Seb Williams. How are you guys today?
Yeah, I'm really good. It was a really enjoyable game. You know, we played really well, and yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was a great game. Obviously, I didn't get on today, but it was great to see the lads perform and do well.
Now, how's it seeing your friend here score 2 goals? Impressive haul. How did you feel about his performance?
Yeah, Caleb's what a great player he is. You know, scoring goals. Just great 2 goals from him. Yeah.
And how did you feel about your performance? Was you happy to get on the score sheet?
Yeah, I was a bit frustrated in the first half when it was like 4-0 and I hadn't scored, so I was really happy to get on the score sheet.
Now, talk to me a little bit about how you felt playing at Bodymoor Heath, Aston Villa's training ground, over the last couple of days in the Premier League Next Gen Cup. How has it been competing against sides from different cultures?
It's obviously very different because we've never really played teams like this before, so it's a good experience to play different players.
Yeah, I feel like it's a great challenge from playing against different cultures, different things. You can pick up on little things they do that we don't, and it's just different to teams we normally play on the league game.
That's an amazing observation. So, like, I want to know as well, like, what have you lot taken from this competition that you're going to move forward and use in your season coming up?
Like, even if you go a goal down, you can still get back into the game because we've got really good players, so we can always score goals.
Yeah, I've definitely learned from the other teams that togetherness is a big thing. They're very together, they do everything together, and it's just great to see football from across the world.
I've got a final request from you lot. From your game, you had a big win today. I need you lot to help me pick out a player of the match. You need some flowers from the Crystal Palace team. We're giving flowers out today. I need you lot to help me give them out.
I'll say Mateo scored 2 goals. He's played really well.
Shout out Mateo. Mateo, get some flowers over here, man. Who are you giving the player of the match to?
I'd give Caleb as well, Mateo, but today I think I'll give it to Joshua Kashaba in goal.
See, some goalkeeper love as well. We share the love around here, man. Goalkeepers don't get forgotten over here. Boys, thank you very much. Well done on ending the Premier League Next Gen Cup on a high. And I'm going to send it up to commentary for the final time.
Thank you, Grant. That was Sebastian Williams, who has really caught the eye this week, and Caleb Redhead, who got a couple of goals today. As Crystal Palace ran out 7-1 winners against East Bengal. Thank you very much, everyone, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the game. Plenty of goals, plenty of action for you. And we've got another game coming up very shortly, so make sure you join us for Aston Villa against Punjab. I've been Ben Smith, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.